We're here with Todd Burkdoll this morning. He is a field market development specialist for Valent U.S.A. And in this week's segment, we are talking about scale. Now, as the end of dormancy is just around the corner, now is the time when growers have been out monitoring and checking for scale in their orchards, right?
Yeah, it's a good time to check things out. Typically, you probably already have probably seen something from last season, in the summer. But looking for it now is a good time, and treating for it now is a good time.
So, as growers are monitoring their orchards for scale, part of that process involves spur sampling, right?
That's correct. You can go out and look at spurs, and you can see scale. Scale's pretty visible, to check it to see it. Once you've got a good indication that you've got some scale. Typically, it can be scattered. It may not be completely across the whole block or whole orchard. It'll be in pockets, and if you leave it unchecked, it'll spread, take over everything. Especially people that have organic blocks where there really isn't any good treatment for that other than oil and maybe pyganic. But anything left unchecked, you can definitely see it take over, and you'll see the spur die back and actually limb die back. It can actually, if left unchecked, scale could kill a tree. Typically, that doesn't happen because people are a little more proactive on it and take measures to knock it out.
And as part of those proactive measures for managing scale, what are some of the options that are available to growers who might be having some issues with scale in their trees?
Well, there used to be, we used to have Lawrence that's gone now, but C's are really good. That's a really good product to use. I know way back probably 20 years ago, I first used it, and not in almonds, but in cherries, and it's made a believer out of me. It's cleaned it up. It took a while for the activity to work because it's an IGR, insect growth regulator. Basically stops the molting process of the scale, so they don't go on to the next stage. It's a chitinase inhibitor, and so chitin is part of the component of the exoskeleton of the scale, the little scale that caps. And so by shutting that off, by shutting off the ability for them to produce chitin, you basically take out the entire generation. Coverage is really essential, getting good coverage because it's contact material. So spraying it on with dormant oil, or some guys will even put out, like with their copper sprays in the wintertime. You can mix it, tank mix it, and it's very effective there as well. But getting good coverage, I would say probably at least 100 gallons the acre where the trees are dormant. You can probably get pretty good coverage with 100 gallons an acre, 100 gallons an acre, and then a 415 oil, dormant oil with it really enhances, spreading, getting coverage, moving around the entire limbs and spurs on the trees. So it's very effective, though. It's a very effective tool to knock out scale.
For those growers who just might not be able to get an application on during dormancy, there are still other windows of time that it can be applied, but they may not be quite as effective, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually put it on any time throughout the year. However, putting it on now when you don't have any leaves to intercept the spray material, you can if you get good coverage. Again, it's a contact application. You have to get, it doesn't have any systemic activity. So getting it on now when there's not a lot of interference out there for a spray to get through the tree, you can do a really good job and get, 98, 99, 100% spray coverage, depending on how fast you go. Speed does not kill when you spray. You need to go slow, and going slow and getting good spray coverage, distribution, uniformity throughout the trees, you'll see excellent control of scale.